This is a full story. Kitten wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. Secretly tell the family, I have a good wife. Well, maybe I used to. When my business failed and I was deeply in debt, she endured hardships with me, encouraging and comforting me, saying she would stick with me through thick and thin. I was deeply moved, thinking of divorcing her to face all the debts alone. But then, by chance, I discovered she had secretly stashed away 10 million and was groveling to her ex-boyfriend. Enduring hardship with him was my sincerity, not spending a penny was my bottom line. The main thing was just companionship. As for that 10 million stash, it's the startup capital for our little family. I decided to tear off her hypocritical mask. Today is my wedding anniversary with my wife. After sorting out things at the company, I bought groceries on my way home, planning to cook a meal myself and give her a surprise. But unexpectedly, as soon as I entered, I saw her in bed with a stranger. The 3 years of the pandemic almost bankrupted my company. These past few days, I've been working day and night, almost dying at my desk, while she's here giving me a cuckold. Maybe she didn't expect me to come back suddenly. The mist on the bathroom glass door hadn't even cleared, indicating they had just taken a shower. The bedroom door was slightly ajar. The gap left was just wide enough for me to see everything inside clearly. That man and my wife were having a great time, her whole body contorted. I never imagined my wife's body could be so flexible. Darling, you're so bold. Bringing me to your house, aren't you afraid your husband will find out? The man's panting was mixed with a hint of boasting. In his vigorous movements, I recognized him. He was Tony, the campus crush my wife secretly admired. My wife chuckled lightly. What if he finds out? That loser of his has been nothing since the company business declined, just eating and drinking on my account, depending on me. He even dares to divorce me? It's best he can't stand it and files for divorce. As long as he initiates the divorce, all the houses and cars will be mine. Tony laughed recklessly. You're unbelievable. My wife took the initiative, pinning Tony down. Don't tell me you don't like coming to my house. You always loved excitement the most. That voice, coquettish yet wild, made me want to vomit. Love it or not, I'm a man, not like your useless husband who can't compare. How could I let you bully me like this? Tony said, laughing lightly twice, carrying my wife to the balcony. It's really despicable. I wanted to go to the kitchen for a knife, rush in, and kill this pair of adulterers. But while killing them might be momentarily satisfying, it's a society governed by law now. Sacrificing my own life and future for them isn't worth it. Now I'm in my 40s, with parents to support. I've experienced the ups and downs of life, and my temperament has become calm and cool. No longer the impulsive and reckless young man I was at 20. What I want is for them to have no place to bury themselves, and my blade must not be stained with a drop of blood. Tony, what's wrong? Nothing. Just felt a cool breeze on my back. I closed the window. The next moment, I heard the sound of the window closing. Darling, I thought your husband had come back. No, you have to comfort me properly. I asked ahead of time. He's not coming back today, so take it easy. I had no interest in listening further. I turned off the phone recording and left the house. Before leaving, I saw my wife's phone on the shoe cabinet in the entrance. After hesitating for a moment, I put it in my pocket. Today, I had planned to surprise my wife after stabilizing the company on the brink of bankruptcy. I had secretly brought in several major deals for her company, but now this marriage is over. I intend to reclaim everything I once gave her, doubled. For the disgrace this vile woman has brought upon me, I will exact revenge 1,000-fold. I returned to my office. My wife's phone had a password, which I remembered was my birthday. I gave it a try. To my surprise, it opened without any suspense. It truly caught me off guard. Was she eagerly waiting for me to find out, or did she think I was foolish, trusting her blindly, watching me being played around with? After years of love and just 1 year of marriage, I truly trusted my wife Hailey. I had never checked her phone before. During these past 3 months of crisis in the company, Hailey showed an unprecedented kindness and understanding. She stopped spending lavishly, no longer buying luxury bags, jewelry, or dining at high-end restaurants. Instead, she drank plain porridge with me, ate pickled vegetables, and encouraged and comforted me through thick and thin. Even if it meant selling everything and being heavily in debt, she was willing to go through it all with me. I was deeply moved, prepared to divorce and face all the debts alone. Yet, Hailey cursed me, accusing me of not treating her as my own, and tore up the divorce agreement immediately to prove her loyalty. I was overwhelmed with conflicting emotions. At that moment, moved beyond words, I made a promise. As long as she did not betray our marriage, if our feelings faded and we divorced, I would give her all my assets. But when I saw the messages Hailey sent to Tony on her Facebook account, I felt like a complete fool. Enduring hardship with him is my sincerity. I draw the line at not spending a penny. The main thing is companionship. Tony, Tony, about that 10 million nest egg, it's for our future marriage, the startup funds for our little home. But don't feel pressured. I don't mean I don't like you or insist you break up with your girlfriend to be with me. I'm just expressing my sincerity. I love you so much, so I completely respect your choice. I don't want to deprive you of your freedom to choose. Ah, okay, I didn't misunderstand. You can rest assured. Tony has a girlfriend? Does my wife know all about it? When my company was on the brink of financial collapse, struggling with funding and unable to pay employees bonuses, I was almost driven to suicide by creditors. At that time, she had 10 million tucked away, but she completely disregarded my life and death. She even pretended to be hypocritical, deceiving my trust and emotions, spending it on her lover. My heart ached. I've seen all sorts of strange things in the business world over the years, but experiencing this firsthand, I find it hard to accept. Little did I know, even more disgusting things were yet to come. I transferred all of Hailey's Facebook records to my personal laptop. Page by page, I flipped through them, and only then did I realize they had numerous hotel stays during university. At that time, Tony's girlfriend was a school beauty, and Hailey was just one of his disposable tools. From selfless dedication to indifference, Hailey's circle of friends gradually filled with bitterness and sadness. Round and round, you'll find that I'm the one most suited for you, and I'll wait right here for you. As long as you turn back, you'll forever be my god. Attached were photos of Tony showing off. Hailey was my first love. She claimed to have been a conservative good girl in college, raised by parents who taught her about the boundaries between men and women, so she never dared to date. Of course, there were crushes, but the flowers fell with intent and the water flowed without emotion. At the time, I thought this girl was quite candid. Actually, even if she had dated before and lost her first time, I wouldn't have minded. Compared to these external things, what I cared about more was character, values, stability in marriage, and a sense of responsibility. But I misread and underestimated human nature. I continued to scroll through their chat records and discovered that they met up again 6 months ago at a college reunion, despite Hailey lying to me about being on a business trip. At that time, I was drinking with a partner for a big project and had a gastric bleed. But as soon as I had a chance, I asked Hailey, had she reached the hotel on her trip? Had she eaten well? She didn't respond for 2 hours, even when I called her. Worried about her safety, I even considered calling the police, tearing off the 4 and booking a flight that same day to find her. Fortunately, she returned later. She said she was looking for food at a local night market and didn't hear her phone vibrate because it was too noisy. Though I had doubts, I didn't delve deeper and was charmed by her coquettishness. Sorry, honey, won't happen again. I'll be careful. Won't worry you anymore. Rest assured, I'll bring you local products when I return. But now, reading their chat records, I know what they were up to. Ha, hubby, how do you feel about this interview? What's the feeling? It's very comfortable, very happy. How about you? It's quite exciting. Ha ha ha, yes, especially when people walk by. Honey, but I prefer the hotel over the car. I kneel on the ground, look up at you affectionately, as if you were my god, the master of this world. Wow, Hailey, you're so good now. Long time no see. You're even better. Tell me the truth. Did your husband teach you? No way. He's just a naive boy. This side of me, the most beautiful part, is only for you to see. My heart was torn apart. I punched the table. The intense pain seemed to relieve my heart a little. 1 year into marriage, my cherished wife, held in my mouth, afraid of melting, cradled in my palm, afraid of dropping. But in front of strangers, she was like a humble slave, willingly pleasing others. I am a man, not devoid of desires, nor uninterested in exploring the mysteries and complexities of human beings. But every time I saw her shy and naive appearance, my heart ached. She said that kind of smell made her sick. So, I never forced her. Now, all I want to do is laugh. The following chat records are even more unbearable, and these were all initiated by my wife, Hailey, who would also write various little essays to Tony, expressing her worship, using their intimate photos to make all kinds of emojis, and saying good morning and good night without fail. Sometimes, Tony would echo a couple of sentences. Sometimes he would respond nonchalantly. She is Tony's lackey. Oh no, Hailey is also jealous. Tony, am I better or your wife better? Both are good. Bullshit. I've aborted 5 times for you. Has she? Despite being a doctor, she's only out for her own fun, never minding your life or death. Hey, tell me, is she so selfish and irresponsible? Has she ever killed anyone? When she performs surgery, does she deliberately crush the patient's heart? Tony, when are you going to marry me? I'm so annoyed. Rocky is just trash. Not only has the company not improved, but more and more people are being forced into debt. I'm so tired. I don't want to pretend anymore. Shall we kill him? Say he can't stand it and commit suicide, then write him a farewell letter. Or shall we send him to Myanmar and kill him? Hee hee, don't be afraid. I'm just joking. Even if we kill him, I won't let you get your hands dirty. It turns out Hailey once suffered from ureteral stones and was in agony. me just after a miscarriage. But she actually miscarried, and I, like a grandson, took care of her, feeling guilty for not protecting her, and slapped myself hard twice. It turned out she deliberately let others lose their seeds and accused me of it. I opened the window, and the autumn wind blew in, bringing bone-chilling cold and dampness. I'm gradually calming down. Hailey, since you've played with me and loved Tony so much, then maybe I should fulfill you both. It wouldn't be fair to you. At this moment, the office phone suddenly rang. It's Hailey. What's wrong? Honey, where are you? In a meeting. I try to keep my tone calm. No, I just miss you. It's been 3 days since you've been home. I'm worried about your health. When are you coming back? Do you want me to bring you some supper? Hailey's voice was sweet and tender, but now I found it incredibly ironic. Missing me was a lie, and testing if I had returned home was the truth. Otherwise, why didn't she call my mobile directly instead of calling my office landline? Yet her phone was supposed to be with me. No need. Okay, I won't disturb you, honey. Heart emoji. Love you. I hung up the phone. If I hadn't discovered her wrongdoing, I might still be trapped by her sugar-coated bullets. But now, there's still time. I looked at Hailey's phone and dialed another number from the office landline. It was a different phone number. I carefully inspected the model again and suddenly laughed. It turned out she had 2 identical phones with the same password, playing this game with me. Alright, I'll play along with you guys. I called an investor and asked if the investment could be delayed for a month due to a cooling-off period for divorce. As for the company's earnings, I won't give Hailey a cent. On the contrary, I'll make her spit out all the money she has. I called a lawyer and briefly explained the situation. The lawyer said the video I had was filmed at my own home and could be used as evidence of infidelity. He also said I hadn't startled the snake in the grass, which was good, and I could continue gathering evidence more discreetly. He also advised me that video recordings of their cheating conversations would be better than photos, which might not support the authenticity of the evidence. After following all these steps, I called my childhood friend. His uncle is the director at the city's People's Hospital. I have to thank Hailey for this. She added Tony's girlfriend on Facebook and pretended to be a patient, constantly chatting with her, stalking her social media, and liking almost every post, especially their photos together. Hailey instantly turned into a fangirl, envying the other woman. Sis, your boyfriend is so handsome. I'm so jealous of you. Actually, my boyfriend is just as handsome. I really like him. If you have time, I'll introduce you guys. How many faces does Hailey really have? I don't want to delve into it anymore. I carefully looked through the female doctor's circle of friends and found that many of them were hospital promotions, so finding out where she worked was easy. I've said before, I won't dirty my hands to deal with them. So, I need to understand Tony's girlfriend's temperament and character before planning the next revenge step. Soon, my childhood friend called back. He said the female doctor's name is Serena, with a tough temperament, clear likes and dislikes, and doesn't tolerate nonsense. She's also a skilled doctor, very responsible, and her parents are high-level leaders in the hospital. Truly a heaven-sent opportunity. While my friend was helping, he didn't forget to criticize me. Rocky, you're something else, a guy in his 30s being played by a post-00s. Get lost, I said impatiently. Bro, need any help? I know. I hung up the phone and sent Hailey a link to a luxury handbag. During the time I waited for my childhood friend's call, I installed a small program in this link. It could remotely control the other party's phone camera as long as she clicked on it. I studied computer science in college, so this wasn't complicated for me. On Facebook, I apologized to Hailey, saying I had just finished a meeting and would be busy recently, so I couldn't come home yet. As compensation, I let her choose a handbag she liked. I sent it at 3 in the morning. I wasn't sure if Hailey was asleep, but I was sure she would definitely click on it. For someone who inherently admires vanity, she wouldn't miss any opportunity to squeeze out the remaining value from others. Just as I hesitated, Hailey clicked on it. It turns out Tony hadn't left yet. Hailey was bold enough. She had just called the office landline, obviously suspecting, probably noticing her phone was missing, because there were several missed calls on her phone, but she still hadn't driven Tony away. The two were still cuddling, perhaps excessively confident in their own charm. In that case, why would I miss such a good opportunity? I picked up my phone and called the police. I reported a case of prostitution. I specified the exact door number, but I called the police using a virtual phone app. Police won't ignore something like solicitation, and typically, officers responding are from the nearby police station. I don't know anyone from the nearby station, but my college dorm buddy passed the civil service exam related to these systems years ago, and he's held a decent position since. We meet up every holiday to keep in touch. I gave him a call. I wasn't going to let him make a mistake. I just said my wife and the downstairs neighbor had a bit of a spat. I'm away on a business trip and can't get in touch with her, so I'm worried. I asked him to help me check where she is, and I sent my assistant to take a look. The reason I made this call was to ensure there were no surprises. If my wife was taken to another station, I would have missed it. Furthermore, in such situations, the police will usually have family members come to explain. But how would Hailey let me know? An hour later, my roommate messaged me back saying they found her. No need to worry. He also said it wasn't a big deal. He could go get her for me and bring her back. He hesitated to speak, didn't fully explain, and I figure he's guessed the truth. Jack, thanks. Sorry for the trouble. I'll treat you to a meal when this is over. Bro, what are you talking about? If it weren't for you lending my dad money for treatment freshman year, he might not have made it. Jack was born in a poor mountain area. His family conditions were tough. The village sponsored his college tuition. His father had a sudden heart attack, and at the time, I was writing code and earned some money, which I gave to him. Actually, that's one good thing about being an adult. Connections are resources. You can hint at things without fully exposing them. After dealing with this, I washed my face in the bathroom, and using Hailey's Facebook alias, I sent various short videos of Tony and Serena to Serena. I have to thank them for their unique taste. Hailey hid these videos in a hidden folder, but I found them. No woman would remain indifferent after seeing these. And I heard that doctors don't turn off their phones or put them on silent while sleeping, especially responsible doctors like Serena. So, I called her with a voice and video message and hung up as soon as she answered. Who are you? Who are you? Really? What's your relationship with Tony? Don't you know he has a girlfriend and they're about to get married? I replied, who I am doesn't matter. Come to the community police station right now. After saying that, I turned off Hailey's phone. At 4 in the morning, I drove with the windows still dark outside and not many cars on the main road. After carefully planning for a while, the main event finally began. Rocky, you woke us up in the middle of the night and didn't say what's going on. Where are you taking us? You know your dad has heart problems. My mother-in-law sat in the back seat, a bit cranky. My father-in-law was more composed. Rocky, Hailey's phone isn't answering either. Did something happen? They're probably taking a statement now. How could they answer? We'll know when we get there. Upon arriving at the police station, just as I expected, how could Hailey admit it? But the police didn't believe her. Someone reported it, so they had to handle it. The police asked them to explain their relationship. Hailey still refused to admit it, saying he was her husband. The police asked for their marriage certificate, but Hailey couldn't produce it. Finally, Hailey said they were good friends. Would good friends sleep together without clothes? You must be kidding. In the end, there was no way out. Hailey said he was someone she liked and begged the police not to tell me, or else this family would be ruined. As the police told me these things, they said Hailey had been crying the whole time and patted my shoulder heavily, showing a slightly pitiful look. I guess they've seen a lot of these things. My body leaned against the wall, feeling somewhat powerless. Eventually, I ended up squatting on the ground, covering my face, shoulders shaking. My mother-in-law advised me, Rocky, there must be some misunderstanding here. Hailey isn't that kind of person. You have to believe him. Shut up, it's all your fault. You've spoiled her. What kind of thing did you teach her? We've been teachers all our lives. How did we raise such a disgraceful person? My father-in-law scolded my mother-in-law, then sighed deeply. Rocky? In the end, he didn't say anything. My shoulders shook even harder because I was laughing. Now, I'm the victim, right? I have to show sadness, don't I? Honey, Dad, Mom, why are you here? Hearing Hailey's voice, I slowly stood up. Hailey, what did I do wrong to deserve this from you? My voice trembled. My eyes in the mirror were bloodshot. Yeah, I hadn't slept all night, but not only was I not sleepy at all, every cell in my body was excited. Hailey came to pull my arm, but I shook her off firmly. Honey, listen to me. Before she could finish her sentence, she received a solid slap. You bitch, seducing my boyfriend, pretending to be my patient, getting close to me on purpose, showing off, are you playing with me? How shameless can you be? Not long after, a neatly dressed and beautiful girl with a ponytail rushed over energetically. It was Serena. Now things were getting lively. The grand drama I had been eagerly anticipating finally unfolded. Hailey covered her face, cowering behind me plaintively. Honey, I didn't do it. They framed me. Framed? Serena was furious, grabbing Hailey forcefully. I deliberately stepped aside, giving Serena space to vent. Look at these videos. Did a dog make them? Tears streamed down Hailey's face. These are edited. Yes, they must be edited. Liar. Today I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'll ruin your reputation. Serena finished speaking, then slapped Hailey 3 times in a row. What are you doing? Let go of my daughter, the mother-in-law said, trying to pull Serena away. You can't control your own man. What's the point of bullying my daughter? I don't know where Serena got her burst of strength, but she kicked the mother-in-law to the ground, being the third wheel and still having the nerve to argue. Old man, how can you just stand there and do nothing? The mother-in-law wailed. The father-in-law snorted coldly. I don't have such a disgraceful daughter. Dad, how can you take their side? Hailey's tears fell in large drops, her lips trembling with anger or grievance. She couldn't help but shake. Get away. Hailey Hailey tried to pull her father-in-law, but he pushed her away. Hailey cautiously glanced at me, her eyes filled with tears, and approached me pitifully. Honey, I was forced into it. Don't listen to their nonsense. It was Tony who raped me. Today he came to borrow money from me. Out of goodwill based on our college friendship, I opened the door for him. Little did I know, the moment he stepped in, honey, you'll believe me, won't you? I chuckled coldly, saying nothing. Keep acting, keep pretending. If Oscar doesn't give you a little golden man, I'd really feel sorry for you. But before Hailey could finish, Tony, just finished with the statement, slapped her to the ground. You bitch, I forced you? If it weren't for you seducing me, would I have noticed you? The police are here. Our chat records are on our phones. Come on, explain everything clearly. Tony grabbed Hailey and walked her toward the statement room. Hailey struggled desperately, but she wasn't the match for a grown man. Finally, she sat down on the ground, refusing to move. She looked so wretched and shabby. She always behaved like a lady. She was very image conscious. But today, she lost everything, inside and out. Seeing this, Tony let go of Hailey, ran over to Serena, and tried to explain and beg for forgiveness. Wife, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I made a mistake that all men make. But I love you, and I promise this will be the first and last time. Serena raised an eyebrow, her tone slowing down. Love me? I swear on everything. Tony nodded frantically. Serena suddenly slapped Hailey. You love me because I'm a doctor? Makes you look good when you take me out? You love me because I earn a lot, so you can buy and buy and buy? You love me because my parents are hospital leaders, saves you 20 years of struggle? Or do you love me because I won't let you touch me, conservative and boring? With each statement from Serena, she slapped Tony. Yes, in addition to sending Serena small videos, I also sent some recordings of Tony complaining about Serena. Tony stared fiercely at Hailey and suddenly slapped her twice. Was it you who sent them? Are you trying to cause trouble? I told you, you're just my plaything. Serena is my true love. Why are you trying to ruin us? Hailey finally broke down, tearing at Tony while shouting, you bastard. Why didn't you say that when you were sleeping with me? When I spent money on you, buying Cartier watches, buying BMWs, why didn't you say that? Watching this drama unfold, I felt somewhat weary and spoke softly. Tony, I advise you to return all the money Hailey spent on you and the gifts she bought during our marriage, or else I will have to pursue legal action. Not only do you owe others, but you also need to give back everything I've spent on you. Serena glanced coldly at Tony and said, I give you 3 days or see you in court. After Serena finished speaking, she left without looking back. Tony chased after her, calling out, Serena, Serena, get away, scumbag, stay away from me. Be careful, I'll make you die in a way you can't even imagine. Only after Serena and Tony had completely walked away did Hailey slowly get up from the ground. Honey, I was deceived. I swear. It was just this once. Will you forgive me? I looked at Hailey crying once upon a time. Every time she shed tears, I would feel heartbroken and couldn't help but coax and blame myself. But now, these are the tears of a crocodile. Hailey, at 8 o'clock, bring the household registration book. Let's meet at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Hailey suddenly dropped to her knees on the ground. Honey, I really know I was wrong. Will you give me another chance? Recently, your company went bankrupt and I was under immense pressure. Tony actively seduced me and I couldn't control myself. That's how I made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes in life, don't you too? As long as I change, isn't that enough? To be honest, I don't even know what happened. I drank too much today, and when I woke up, I found myself lying in bed with Tony. I swear, we were just lying there. Nothing happened. Even if something did, in this society, it wouldn't matter, right? Suddenly, I remembered a saying from online, honey, I just let him rub against me, not enter. Who would believe that? I coldly snorted. It wouldn't matter? I've seen shameless people, but never this shameless. Of course, you forgot. During this period when you had nothing, I was there with you, drinking plain water, eating cold steamed buns. Even when we slept in a rented room, I didn't complain, did I? I just made this small mistake. Is it really necessary for you to react like this? I slapped Hailey across the face. You're not thinking straight. Let me clear your mind. Hailey covered her face, looking at me in shock. You hit me? You, a big man, hitting a woman? Do you still have any shame? Her mother-in-law also pointed at me, cursing, by what right do you hit my daughter? My daughter is the flesh of my heart. I have never been willing to lift a finger to her. But her father-in-law, with a cold face, pushed her mother-in-law. Shut up, you. Hailey, get home and reflect on yourself. You have completely lost our face. Rocky, I'm sorry. We were wrong in this matter. We didn't educate our daughter well. Let you be wronged. We'll take her home and educate her well, and you also calm down. Life in the world, running a marriage, is not easy, and no one's marriage is smooth sailing. There will be more or less such problems. Rocky, divorce should not be easily said. Dad hopes you think carefully. No matter how you and Hailey are, you will always be half a son of our family, and this home will always welcome you. In fact, the smartest person in the whole family is the father-in-law. When getting married, the father-in-law said, "Don't want a dowry, just treat Hailey well." The more he said he didn't want it, the more I couldn't not give it, and I had to give it generously. In normal times, when I go to my father-in-law's house for dinner, my father-in-law always cooks by himself, drinks with me, and always puts his posture very low, saying that his daughter is willful and needs to be tolerated more. If she is not obedient, tell us, they will educate her well for me. The whole family, the father-in-law gave me enough respect, so I also more love and care for Hailey. But Hailey has such a good father, but she doesn't act like a human being. Dad, if you were me, what would you do? Wearing a green hat, being laughed at by people. At home, I massage Hailey's shoulders, bring her foot washing water. It's okay, but this grievance, I can't stand it and I won't stand it. This marriage, I'm definitely getting a divorce. Hailey suddenly became frantic, lashing out like a mad dog. Dad, why are you siding with him? Divorce it is then. Who's afraid of whom? Rocky, don't forget, if you're the one to initiate the divorce, the house and the car all belong to me, and you leave with nothing. Her father slapped Hailey hard across the face. You fool, Rocky is such a good man, and you don't know how to cherish him. Where will you find another man as good as him in the future? His hand was trembling. Her mother pushed her father away. What are you doing? What exactly has our girl done wrong that you all want to hit her? If anything happens to her, I'll hold you accountable for her life. Her mother deliberately glanced at me as she said the last few words. So, are you threatening me now? I'm not afraid of you. Just keep spoiling her. The reason Hailey is like this today is all because you've spoiled her, said my father-in-law, covering his chest and storming off. Rocky, are you satisfied now? Look at my parents blaming me. Because of our argument, you're happy now? Hailey glared at me fiercely, as if I were her mortal enemy. I just slept with someone else. Is that enough for you? If you want a divorce, I'll go along with it. But don't forget, you said that as long as we divorce, all the property belongs to me. I sneered twice, calmly looking at Hailey, and said slowly and deliberately, Hailey, you forgot that was based on the premise that we are both loyal to our marriage. If the feelings are gone and we divorce, I am willing to give you all the property. But you betrayed the marriage and destroyed the family. Why should I give you all the property? Are you stupid? So what? I have nothing to do with Tony. I didn't cheat, Hailey said stubbornly, sticking her neck out. She really doesn't fear shame. I had already guessed that she would make such a fuss. I raised my eyebrows, looking at her as if she were an idiot. So, you forgot why you came to the police station? The content of the record is in black and white, and there is your signature and seal. There is no way to deny it. Rocky, you schemed against me? You called the police. Hailey was so angry that her face turned pale, her eyes rolling around quickly, seemingly thinking quickly. It seems that she is not stupid and finally figured it out. The house and the car are all mine. They all have my name on them. You keep your bankrupt company and live by yourself. I smiled faintly. Hailey, what are you thinking? Ignorance of the law is really terrible. Although the house and car have your name on them, they are all premarital property. The new marriage law stipulates that they belong to my personal property and you can't take a penny with you. Not only that, but your 10 million little treasury also has to be spit out. Hailey suddenly fell to the ground, muttering, so you knew it all along. Today, you deliberately performed this play for us to see. Rocky, you are really vicious. How can you be so shameless? You played tricks on me. I was really blind to fall for you at the beginning. I squatted down, looking at Hailey's face, which was lost, and said word by word, Hailey, you were wrong. It was me who was blind. If it weren't for you, my life would be very beautiful. Don't think about transferring property. My lawyer will be watching you. At 8 o'clock, don't be late at the gate of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Going to the Civil Affairs Bureau, the process of signing the divorce agreement went relatively smoothly. However, Hailey was reluctant to part with the 10 million, which was no surprise to me. So, dealing with such shameless people, there is no need to show any mercy. A week later, Hailey received a lawsuit from the court. To be precise, it was the partner to whom our company owed money that sued me. We owed them 25 million. Although this was the company's debt, the profits made during the company's operations were used by us as a couple, and most of it was spent by Hailey. This can be evidenced by the credit card statements. As one party of the couple, Hailey needs to repay 12.5 million. She can choose not to repay it, but the court will enforce it. No one can go against the law, and no one is willing to lose their freedom and serve a long prison sentence. You can choose not to repay it, but the little video of you and Tony, I will make sure all your colleagues see it. You wouldn't want to lose your job, would you? I said calmly as I threw the phone to Hailey. Rocky, you son of a bitch. You're ruthless. You're inhumane. I've fallen into your hands. It's your own fault for doing so many wrong things. Compared to you wanting to to kill me. I've already shown mercy. Hailey, don't be ungrateful, or I'll have you in jail in a minute. Hailey finally shut up. On the day of the final divorce, Hailey was packing things at the villa. Leave these bags. The clothes are yours. I looked at the wall full of luxury bags, which must be worth a lot of money. After all, they were bought with my hard-earned money. Why? These are all mine. I've repaid the 10 million. What more do you want? I slapped Hailey hard. Because you don't deserve it. Deceiving my feelings. Is it over? You're pregnant with someone else's child, and I took care of you during your little confinement, served you food and drink, and you still pull me. I haven't even asked you for compensation for emotional damage. If you know what's good for you, take these clothes and get out. Otherwise, I deliberately glanced at the burly men with tattooed arms at the door. I don't mind if they take you to northern Myanmar for some fun. Rocky, you wait for me. Hailey, carrying her suitcase, walked up to the tough guys, deliberately raising her momentum. Get out of the way. Walking out the door, Hailey stood in the sunlight, mustered her courage, and shouted loudly, Rocky, Tony and I are together. I've never loved you in this life. I was just playing with you. Every minute and second with you makes me sick. All I can think about is Tony. Tony is my true love, and I tell you, Tony has a promising future, and he has introduced several big clients to me, just to make you angry. Your company is about to go bankrupt, and you will end up alone and homeless for the rest of your life. Haha. Ever since I saw through Hailey's bad nature, these words have no power over me. But she did remind me, Tony has a promising future? His probation period doesn't seem to be over yet. And the several big orders I secretly introduced to Hailey's company on our wedding anniversary were also credited to Tony? Interesting. What you owe me, it's time to pay it all back. A year later, my company went public. Someone, I don't know who, posted the video of Tony and Hailey having an affair online. Tony, who once had a promising career, lost everything. As for Hailey, those big clients never belonged to her in the first place. When she joined the company, she relied on my connections. Though I didn't explicitly mention the reason for our divorce, everyone could download the little video. The company's leaders also made things difficult for her and ostracized her. Of course, later I heard that in order to keep her job, Hailey actively used her personal charm, playing games secretly with junior leaders in the office late into the night. This was discovered by one of their wives who beat her up badly, leaving her hospitalized with bruises all over. And Tony, he vented all his anger on Hailey, abusing her daily, beating her to the point of internal bleeding, even causing a urinary bladder fistula, wandering around with a urine bag. He even made her go out to entertain clients for money, not even sparing her during her menstrual period. While Tony stayed at home playing games, gambling, and sleeping with other women, Hailey's mother was so angry with her that she had a stroke and became a vegetable. It was a pity for Hailey's father, who had to take care of her mother every day and still had to deal with Hailey's nonsense. Finally, Hailey's father could no longer bear it and severed the father-daughter relationship with her. The last time I saw Hailey was on the street. I was driving my new Rolls-Royce, waiting at a traffic light. She was wearing a cheap miniskirt, stumbling towards my car, tapping on the window, and handing me a small card. Sir, need some service? I'm very professional. Her hair was messy as if she hadn't washed it in ages, her face pale and devoid of any radiance, and she reeked of low-quality perfume, which was even more unpleasant. She saw me and froze for a long time. Rocky, could you spare some money for me? I haven't eaten in a long time. I casually grabbed a bag of cookies and tossed it to her. She tore it open immediately and wolfed them down. Thank you, thank you. I smiled. No need to thank me. It's for Cola, my new dog. It loves these. She froze again, hesitated, swallowed whatever she wanted to say, and finally choked it down, seeming to cough as if it went down the wrong pipe. I couldn't be bothered to watch her anymore, closed the car window, and drove away. The princess who used to be in the palm of my hand has truly become a lady of the night. Congratulations, Hailey. As for my life, it will only get better and better. I turned on the car's music system, soothing and delightful music filled the air, and then I received a Facebook verification message. Mr. Rocky, I'm Serena. Last year, you sent me a little video, right? Would you mind if I treated you to a meal? The image of that beautiful and confident girl appeared in my mind once again. I pressed the accept button and smiled. Will women be more fragrant than careers? End of story.